Welcome to MCU Mondays. We're here on this wonderful, or however it is for you, Monday night. We're always here Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time is when we get started, hence why we just got started. But you can join us here every Monday as we talk about Marvel stuff. My name's Chris. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you today?
Cold here in Indiana.
Cold in Indiana. I don't think I went outside today, so I don't know what it's like.
We just got dug out from the snowmageddon that we had.
So you guys got a lot of snow.
Yeah, we got 12 inches here.
That's a fair amount. That's a foot. It's a foot of snow. You got a foot of snow. Yeah. Yeah. We did not get that. I'm here in Maryland, and we just got the tail end of it. It was cold. There was some like winter weather, but no accumulation really. Which, thank goodness, because I didn't feel like dealing with a foot of snow. Anyway, on tonight's episode, we're going to be talking all about Doctor Strange. Normally, we talk about whatever's happening in the latest show or the latest movie, but we're in a bit of a dry spell for Marvel right now. We're waiting on Moon Knight to come out. That is the next project that will be surfacing, the show or limited series Moon Knight, which will be on Disney Plus. So we're excited to get talking about that, but that is all the way at the end of March. And so in the meantime, while we're waiting on that and the other movies to come out, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, waiting on that, pushed back to May, I think. And so while we're waiting for those things, we're just spending some time talking about our heroes that we love from the MCU. Today is Doctor Strange. Last week we did Thor. Week before that, Captain America. Before that, Iron Man. So today's Doctor Strange. Tell us in the comments who you want us to be talking about next week. We also talked a lot about Hulk last week. So we kind of included Hulk. But whoever you want, we want to know. Yeah, tell us in the comments.
As we always do. Hey, William.
And William's already here in the comments. Two favorite people. Oh, that's nice. We're doing good, man. We're just excited to get talking about Doctor Strange. And with that in mind, let's kick it off with the theme song.
Theme song guy.
Oh, yeah! It's MCU Mondays on Geekers Now. We're talking about Marvel Geekers Now. Movies and TV and comics, news, other opinions, breaking news and reviews. It's Geekers Now. It's hilarious.
Here we are. I accidentally hit the back button during that, while that was playing. I was like, "Oh no, did I just end the stream?" Luckily, back in here. So,
When we don't know what we did.
classic
True story.
of me being an idiot. It was I didn't know my mouse could do that. I hit a button on it that I didn't know existed until now. You learn something new every day, kids. Doctor Strange. That's who we're talking about today. And so the first time we see him is in the titular. He's the character, Doctor Strange. And we get to see how he starts out as a huge jerk. Like when we talk about, because some of the heroes are jerks. Like Tony Stark, a lot of people would consider him a jerk.
Yeah, Tony and yeah. Tony, Thor can be a jerk. Well, he was in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
And Doctor Strange, probably to the extreme. He very much a jerk.
It's that level of arrogance.
Well, he's a doctor, he's a neurosurgeon, so
Yeah, he's
all
a very well, and they even show he's got reasons to be arrogant. I mean, he is a neurosurgeon, and he's like the best neurosurgeon. He's doing the one of the things they show him is the person got shot in the head, and they're about to declare the person dead, and he's like, "How about I do this?" And they're like, "You can't do that freehand." And he's like, "Watch me." And then he does it. And he pulls the bullet out, and it's like, "You just saved a life." And then he's like, he's like, the only reason I did that was because the chick asked him to. He's like, I wouldn't normally be doing things like that. And then because like experimental procedures where people might die, that'll affect his record. He doesn't want to have anyone, see that he had patients die. And so then when he wants people to experiment and do experimental procedures on his hands, they're like, no, we're not going to do it. And so like the tables turn back on him, which is like, yeah, that's what you get for being such a giant jerk.
Yeah, well, he even turned down doing surgery on Rhodey.
Well, that was a different guy. That was
no, when he was in the car right before the accident.
When they call him on the, well, what did Rhodey need surgery for?
He had just been taken out by Vision accidentally, remember?
Was that before Doctor Strange? Wow. I guess, yeah, he wasn't in, it was after Captain America Civil War. I always think of that as like Avengers 3, but it's not. And so I was like, so he was definitely, so Doctor Strange. So yeah, when you're saying when he was in the car and he's on the phone right before he crashes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's on the phone talking to someone about Rhodey, and he refuses to do that procedure because, again, he only takes surefire things, essentially. Yeah, Rhodey's back. Yeah, from when Vision shot him in the back. I was like, but wait, Vision's already around it? I was like, so it's just, once you've seen everything, at least for me, it all kind of jumbles together. So it's like, wait, when did Doctor Strange actually get on the scene? And so, yeah, it was after the events of Captain America Civil War.
It's very hard to keep all of it in,
and it is
somebody my age.
It's a nice
I
kind
have
of
to watch them all the time because I'm like, I forget where things are in the timeline, and it's so easy to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like a nice step away from like the Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Avengers team side of it. Like, here's this guy, Doctor Strange. Like, yeah, he'll eventually join up with them, but right now he's not associated with them at all. It was kind of a nice break away from that. And I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy did that too, but that again was a whole ensemble cast. This is just one guy, kind of using the star power of Benedict Cumberbatch with his American accent, which makes him sound like even more of a jerk, I think. Like, he really comes across as just a jerk. And that's why it is fun. Well,
he even sounds like a jerk in his native language. If you ever watch Sherlock.
He didn't know how to.
Sherlock?
Oh, yeah.
He's a real ass on there.
I think a lot of people were disappointed that there was no shit Sherlock line between him and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
So come on, they both played Sherlock. Do it. Although it was also funny to see them butt heads because, speaking of jerks, Tony Stark was the example of the other guy that a lot of people consider to be a jerk. He has a lot of jerk tendencies. He talks down to people. He's arrogant. That's exactly how Doctor Strange is. And even though they get better, that doesn't leave their attitudes completely. Like, it's not like they suddenly turn into like bleeding heart Captain America, let me help everyone. No, they're still kind of jerks. And then they go at each other, which is pretty fun. I think, because Tony's messing with like stuff in the mansion. He's like, do you have any idea what that is? Hi.
Oh.
Strange love the Doctor. Hey, the Doctor Strange love. Big happy hope you're well from Glasgow, Scotland. Thanks for tuning in, and seeing as it's like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that over there, maybe 2. We really appreciate it.
Just having insomnia.
The internet's a great
not
place
be able
for
to
that.
sleep.
And you got to catch this show. You got to see it live. That's the joy of it, because then you can get your comments up on the screen. But yeah, so anyway, we can talk more about him meeting up with the other Avengers and stuff when we get there. But in the Doctor Strange movie, he's very much alone, and that's by his own making. I mean, the one person that's even trying to support him is his ex-girlfriend, the girl from Mean Girls. She plays Regina George in that. She looks much better as a brunette, in my opinion. But I always think she looks better as a brunette. But maybe that's because I just think of her as a mean girl from that movie when she's blonde, and I'm like, ah. But anyway, she's super nice in this, and she was the other doctor that gets him to do that surgery on the guy with the bullet in his head. And he pushes her away pretty severely when he has nothing left. Like, he sold all his rich guy stuff, all his paintings, and he can barely write his own name. And then he like really rips into her. Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just watched it this weekend.
Okay, so what did you think of that scene when he just lays into her?
Well, I mean, I think for him that was pretty typical. Although earlier scenes, they were pretty nice, even though they were exes. Hi, Dave. They seem to have a pretty good relationship, but of course, with his egotistical, obsession and trying to get his hands back to normal, I mean, he just ripped into her and really pushed her away big time.
Yeah. And he had nothing left, though. I was like, you're even going to do that too? He's so prideful that if he can't be the successful person, he's not going to let someone else take care of him. Like, he's not going to do it. He's going to get it fixed no matter what. And if none of these other idiots can do it, then I'll do it myself. And then he goes to whatever lengths, unimaginable lengths. He finds out from his physical therapist. And that was a great scene too, because his physical therapist is telling him how, he asked the physical therapist, have you ever seen someone with injuries as severe as mine come back fully from it? And the guy's like, I've seen one guy do it. Yeah. And he's like, I don't believe you. And Dr. Strange is just a huge jerk to him. And that guy's like, you know what? Just because you're a jerk, I'm going to go find it. And so he finds the file on it just because Dr. Strange pissed him off. He's like, you're such a jerk that I'm just going to prove you wrong. And so he finds it. And then Dr. Strange finds that guy playing basketball. That's the guy who tells him about Comertage, the place he's got to go to find all the mystical stuff. And he's so desperate that he goes there. And you can tell how desperate he is when he first starts talking to the Ancient One. And he's talking about science still. Even having gone there, he's in the middle of some random city on the other side of the world where it's not exactly like a skyscraper and technological, it's just a random city, a random place. And he's talking to monks and he's still like, so what kind of genetic therapy are you doing here? And it's like, what do you see around you that thinks that is what's happening? And then she starts talking about chakras and showing him the different maps of the body. And he's just like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, what did you think you were getting into? What did you think was going to happen when you got here? But that was exactly what she says. Like, your mind is closed. And then, of course, crazy, trippy lights.
Psychedelic.
Yes. Like we had in the intro there. Yeah, she sends him on a trip. And even after that, he's like, what'd you put in the tea? Is that LSD? Okay. William said, I need him to fight Wanda. You might get your chance. Or at least maybe we'll see evil Doctor Strange fighting her, because we got Multiverse of Madness coming up. The possibilities are endless. Literally endless. Who knows what's going to happen? But she is going to have a prominent part, and there looks to be an evil Doctor Strange, so maybe they'll team up and fight him. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I want that fight to happen too. And also, she's had the Darkhold or whatever, the book. So she might be even stronger than last we saw her. And last time we saw her, she took over a town. So she didn't even mean to. Yeah, that's because she was having a freak out. Like, that was by accident. Well, I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you could join in. And William wants to know, what's up, David? Tell him, David. Tell him what's up. Strange was an arsehole. He was a terrible human. Even the comics portray him this way. He's eventually humbled by experience. And see, I don't know as much about him from the comics. I mostly know what I see from the MCU. But a lot of people that I've heard read the comics are pretty happy with how he's been portrayed from what I've seen. Some people are kind of miffed about the Eye of Agamotto, the amulet that he wears around his neck. Because in the comics, there was the amulet, and then inside is actually this relic called the Eye of Agamotto, and he could do different things with that. And that was a symbol of the Sorcerer Supreme. Obviously, in the MCU, they put the Time Stone in there. Now, what I'm wondering is, will we actually see the actual eye that goes in there at some point now that the Time Stone has been destroyed, right? Yeah, because in their timeline, the stones have been destroyed.
Yes.
So maybe we will. It would be pretty cool to see that in Multiverse of Madness. And the stuff that he could do with that, there was a lot of like seeing through illusions type thing, and that would be very useful. So I definitely hope, because the amulet's still in existence, even if the Time Stone is gone. So maybe they could fill it with what it actually was in the comics. What do you think? What do you think about that? Do you think they're gonna give him this, amp up his power?
I could see it happening. Although usually when they stray from the comics, they pretty much, from what I've seen, I mean, I don't read the comics, but from what I know, excuse me, I mean, they may bring it in some other way other than the amulet. Maybe it's another piece that goes into or that could go into the amulet, because they're always talking about the different relics that are in the sanctums and how they hold power. So maybe it's stuck in a glass cabinet somewhere. Nobody knows what it is or whatever. And maybe he comes upon it. I could see that happening, but I don't know.
It's also tough to make like predictions for Multiverse of Madness because anything can happen in
And
any
everybody's
universe.
in it, evidently.
Yeah, I've seen predictions for this where it's just like the entire Marvel lineup is going to appear in this.
And
there's going to be 8 Iron Men and
Tom Cruise.
We'll see what happens when it comes out. I don't know. Try not to get too amped up. We'll see if we get another trailer, what can be figured out from that. But for the most part, I'm just staying excited for it. I hope to see something like maybe X-Men more concretely shown, because they haven't been so far. So maybe a way to introduce them. I've been looking forward to that ever since they bought out Fox. You know, it's like,
well, I did see
put the mutants in.
An announcement for the comics. I believe they're coming out with a new series, and it's Avengers, X-Men, and something else. There's like a third group or something. It's a new series that's coming out, so who knows?
Good. Well, it's about time they started bringing these things into play. Mephisto confirmed.
I'm sticking to my guns, damn it.
It's Williams not in it. Well, who knows? Maybe they got some candid footage of you that'll be in there. You'll be like on a TV screen in the background.
Your podcast.
Strange could because he said so. Wanda is stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme, according to WandaVision. Wing.
Long.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say Wang. Wong. That's probably autocorrect. Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, so I think Strange could match her. William agrees. I think that might be to him being in the movie on TV, but either way. Yeah, anything can happen in that. That's just him holding up some anything. Who knows what's actually going to be in that hand. All I can say is...
Shut up and take my money.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to this one. I was looking forward to it more than Spider-Man, and while I really enjoyed what they did there, that's just like a taste of what's going to happen with Multiverse of Madness. Although Spider-Man is great, just having the character there, because it's always fun to, and having 3 of them, that was awesome. But Multiverse of Madness, even more hyped for that. And then they pushed it back. Oh, I was so disappointed when they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't that happen because of the snap? What was I talking about?
Wong was the supreme.
Oh yeah, because he was gone for 5. Yeah, he became. And I don't know how does that? Who even decides that? How was that decided? If he's just gone, it's like Wong's like, all right, I'll do it, and then he comes back. It's like, well, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme now, so too bad.
Gonna have to wait your turn.
And what was the evil sorcerer's name from the Doctor Strange movie? The black guy that, well, he wasn't evil, but then he became evil at the end. Or he said he was going to hunt down all the other sorcerers.
Mordo?
Is it Mordo or Mord? Yeah.
Or
Mordo? Baron Mordo or something like that?
Right.
I don't know.
Or
They got weird names. They got strange names. Mr. Doctor. It's strange. Not really. Cabbage Patch. Oh, Cumberbatch. Plays a dang good Doctor Strange. He has that odious English thing going perfectly. Yeah, and he turned it into like an arrogant American thing. There's a nasally part to it that I'm just like, oh man, this guy. I'll punch him in the face, but he's magic. Let's see. The Norwegian bloke. Thor? No, Mordo. Mordo? Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. Strange was snapped, Wong took over. But yeah, Mordo at the end of Doctor Strange, he said he was like, we got to kill all the sorcerers or whatever, or there's too much magic, because he killed the guy who had his back healed just because. And I was like, okay, you went like full on psycho, because it's one thing to actually maybe hunt down a rogue sorcerer who's doing something bad. This is just a guy who's walking again using magic, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all, because it's like he's just using it, granted, for himself. He's really not doing good or bad with it. He's just using it on himself, so he's not, in a wheelchair all paralyzed and crippled up. He just wanted to be himself again, to walk. And that was all he was using it for. And then that guy just went full on.
No. Like, wait, I can just go back to not using my legs, right? Like, is that not an option? If this has to happen, whatever. And they're so unclear about all that. So maybe some of those questions will be answered, like, has he been hunting down sorcerers for the past 5 years? Does he give a crap that Strange just almost broke the multiverse with Spider-Man just because he's a jerk, like he's an idiot? Like,
well,
that whole setup is like,
I'm sure that's going to come into play, because he's going to say, you can't even do it right.
Like, you keep constantly almost destroying everything. I don't know why the Ancient One said you'd be the best of us, but then again, she was vampiring energy from the dark dimension. So why should we trust stuff that she was saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do as I say, not as I do. William said, never will forget that time he lost a death battle with Dr. Fate. Isn't Dr. Fate in the DC? He's DC Comics. When did they meet up? And wouldn't he actually end just... Now, would be a crossover, but Dr. Fate is whoever puts on the helmet of Fate. That's DC Comics. And he's stronger if the person is like a magician or familiar with magical property. That makes him stronger. So I think if Doctor Strange put on that helmet, he'd be the strongest Dr. Fate ever.
Is that the same character from not Supergirl?
He was on Young Justice.
Stargirl?
He might have been on Stargirl. I don't know. William would know. He's our DC expert. So maybe he could tell us exactly when that happened.
I mean, he's not on it, but I think his helmet is, maybe? I'm not sure.
I saw him most often in Young Justice. He was featured several times in that. and the different characters would put on his helmet, and he'd be like, this body isn't familiar enough with magic. I'm not as powerful. And then like a magic character would put it on. He'd be like, I'm super powerful now. Blah, 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 blah. So I figure Doctor Strange, or like if Wanda put on the helmet, they'd be just like unstoppable.
I was right. It was Stargirl.
There you go. I never got the chance to watch any Stargirl, I don't think.
I was watching it, and I don't think I finished it because of COVID, and I was working crazy hours. So I think I'll have to dig it up on Netflix, because I did finally finish the last season of Flash. So
now, William also mentioned he's in Young Justice this season, which I need to catch up on apparently, because that means there's a new season of Young Justice. That's DC related comments. So we're gonna try and pivot back to Marvel since this is MCU Mondays. But hey, when you're talking about Doctor Strange, it's a crossover. You know, I'm down. You know, it's related. We didn't just suddenly start talking about it randomly. Okay, there was a progression that happened. But we're gonna swing it back to Doctor Strange, the Marvel side of things. Move into. Well, I guess it was also great to see Mads Mikkelsen. Wasn't he the one that played, the bad guy? He's always wonderful. I'm a big fan of his.
Great in Rogue One.
Great in Rogue One. Great in the 2004 King Arthur, where he plays Tristan. I made a supercut of his performance in that. I put it on my
he's
YouTube
the dark
page.
Guy.
Yeah, he's got the sword, the saber, and he's doing the archery stuff, and he has the hawk. In King Arthur 2004. Anyway, it's great. Go watch it. Clive Owen's in it. So is that other guy. I think I have clips. Where are my clips? I hope I didn't delete them. Oh wait, no. Here we go. Okay, this. So his name is escaping me right now, but I recently saw him because he played the villain in the Black Widow movie, MCU related. So yeah, see, it's tied in. It's tied in.
Tristan.
How do you do that? I aim for the middle.
Mads Mikkelsen, baby. So he plays the villain in the Doctor Strange movie, and so that's a great person to counter Benedict Cumberbatch's Mads Mikkelsen. And seeing them interact is kind of funny because they're both these arrogant characters. But what's interesting is I think at the end, he doesn't die necessarily. He gets taken to the dark dimension and like transforms into apparently Dormammu in the comics can make these like minions or take you and turn you into a minion thing. So we might actually see him come back in some way, especially if they're going to be exploring the dark dimension at all when he explores the multiverse of madness. I'd have to actually look. I should see if they posted on like IMDb if Mads Mikkelsen is gonna be in the cast. I'm gonna take a quick look at that. I would love to see him back again. What did you think of him in Doctor Strange?
Hey, Steven. How you doing?
What? Debbie, how'd you answer that question?
I didn't. I just said hi.
I said, how would you answer that question?
Oh,
Answer the question, Debbie.
answer the question, damn it.
Pulling teeth.
Probably, let's see, Marvel probably be Doctor Strange. Gosh, there's so much to look forward to that's not even Marvel, but not many people are, but I am excited to see Morbius, Moon Knight. Excited to see that, and Oscar Isaac. There was something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, Moon Knight's pretty great. I think Multiverse of Madness has it for me, for sure. I don't even remember the other stuff. I'm like, I'll look at other stuff after I've seen Multiverse of Madness. Then I'll be interested in anything else. But until then, that's like number one on my list. After then, I'll find a new number one and only care about that until I see it.
Well, I get excited anything Marvel, Star Wars.
I get worried about things Star Wars, but I usually get excited about Marvel. I never know what Star Wars is going to do these days. God, I hope Obi-Wan doesn't suck. Or Kenobi, sorry. The Obi-Wan show, Kenobi. He's one of my favorite characters. So is Boba Fett, and they need a serious series finale to pull that out of the middling that it is, in my opinion. If you're going to use Boba Fett.
Have faith.
I'll hold judgment until I see the last episode. But
I don't think Filoni and Favreau would screw it up.
Well, they spent 2 whole episodes on not him, and it's the Book of Boba Fett. There's only 7 episodes. That to me is a
connected, all come together.
I get that that's going to happen, but there were 2 episodes that he wasn't in.
He was in the last one. It was a cameo.
Come on, Debbie. Anyway, let's read this comment. Enough. Back to Marvel. I'm excited about this film. Hopefully they go full-blown adult horror with these characters, Strange and Moon Knight.
Yeah.
The most recent Moon Knight trailer certainly looked pretty... my friend told me when he saw it, he was like, this reminds me of Fight Club. And so that was and not that Fight Club's a horror, but there are elements of that kind of psychotic behavior. Seeing things in mirrors that aren't there, waking up after having beaten people to a pulp and not remembering doing that. Yeah.
Or waking up with a gun in his hand and it's like, whoa.
It's a great. And apparently, I think someone freeze framed that clip when he's got the gun in his hand. And there's, it's like the crates behind him are labeled like Doom
Dr.
Industries. Doom. Yeah.
I seen that, but I was like, I'm not going to make that theory.
Yeah, well, it's out there. All right. 2 minutes after the trailer came out, people are just like, let me get my microscope. You've got to examine this thing down to its very core.
Yeah, with Marvel, you just never know if it's just a little Easter egg or a head nod, or if it's going to be, like a prediction of things to come.
The comments, we got David, Star Wars show special tomorrow night. Predictions for the finale of Book of Boba Fett. So make sure to tune in tomorrow night on GNN. They'll be talking all about Star Wars, all about the Boba Fett show, and what we might be seeing on Wednesday. And then, of course, they'll have another show
Tuesday.
on what they'll see on Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
And then, of course, there is another show. Well, then don't interrupt with wrong information, if you know. All right. Anyhow.
And I'll be there.
There will be a show also on Thursday after they've seen it, so everyone can talk about what actually did happen on the Cantina Happy Hour. So Tuesday and Thursday, Star Wars shows on Geek News Now. And Debbie will be there, and I'll be there for at least one of them.
And my cat Chewy will be there.
And her cat Chewy. Strange Love the Doctor. The ones Boba wasn't in were the best ones, in my opinion. And I'll go back and just say I'm not angry at the content that the episodes gave us. I enjoyed the stuff that I was watching. The thing is, I came here to watch Boba Fett, and that was 2 episodes out of 7 that had no Boba Fett. And it's like, why wasn't this in The Mandalorian? And I don't know. It was weird that he wasn't in it at all, because even in The Mandalorian, when they have guest characters, it's still like The Mandalorian interacting with them. This was full on Boba Fett was not involved. And it was just, that was weird. It's a weird choice to me. That being said, I'm interested to see what happens with like Luke and Grogu and all these characters. I am interested to see what happens. I just thought the way that they're connecting it is different. And well, we'll see. And Steven said, Bo-Katan might show up just to make it even crazier. Yeah, who knows? First, more Mandalorians into the mix. That was one thing. Is like they're talking about how they need muscle to blow things up, and it's like, I know you don't really get on with other Mandalorians, but you do know Mandalorians. They're the best fighters. They could easily beat up whoever's getting. And also, it would be interesting if he had called like Bosk or Zuckuss or IG-88 or the other bounty hunters. Those are the bounty hunter Dengar that appeared alongside him in The Empire Strikes Back. And maybe we'll see them. Who knows? Grogu equals ratings. Yeah.
Can't disagree.
And I mean, they put the bubble dome in the back of the Naboo starfighter, so it's like, oh, what choice do you think he's gonna make? You know, I mean, that it seems to me like that's what they're gonna do.
Right next to a huge steaming bowl of foreshadowing.
So, let's see. Grogu equals ratings. Yes. How did Boba get so portly while spending all that time in Sarlacc's belly and then like starving with the Tuskens? And I don't know. Yeah, it's muscle. Is that what that is? That's it's scar tissue. That's it's a robe. The robe is bulky. It bulks up in places. All right, it's fine. He's looking great. And that was the other thing about the Boba Fett. I'll just throw it out there is that so much of it he's not even in his armor. It's like, stop giving me the backstory of how he got his armor back. Put it in his armor and let him kill people. And then once he gets his armor back, they immediately have him fighting out of the back to tank when he doesn't have his armor on, and he's like fighting in a diaper against a Wookiee. And I'm like, put on the damn armor. How did this Wookiee get this far into your defenses without anyone showing up, realizing that there's a Wookiee? They're not stealth. He's not. It's a giant. Okay. And he's fighting in a diaper. It's like, that's. No, I'd rather see him in his armor kicking ass. But
actually, even when he was running around with his shorts or diapers or whatever you want to call them, I mean, he might look portly, but I mean, it wasn't the
crazy thing was the Wookiee
looked good.
The Wookiee punches him in the face, right? With those knuckle dusters that are like pointed and electric. He full on punches him in the face. There's not even a mark. And I'm like, whoa. That should have taken your head off. That's a Wookiee. Like, Boba Fett's tough. What was in that Bacta, man?
That was some good stuff.
Iron skinned. Okay, so let's see. They might have literally used first 2 episodes of Mando 3 to fill bland space. It's just.
I disagree.
It's an interesting decision. I don't know. And we'll see how the final episode comes together.
Because I don't even think they filmed Mando yet. I don't even think they've even started that. Or maybe they're still filming. I don't think they're done is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it says that was in January. They delayed filming. Oh, yeah. Because of rising COVID cases. The filming began in October, but they were Book of Boba Fett stuff that they're doing, and Obi-Wan Kenobi had to be filmed first, so they had to push back some of the filming for season 3. But I mean, that's probably why Marvel got stuff pushed back as well. All of that is because shooting is taking longer, because when the COVID stuff works up, they can't film stuff, so that pushes back all the projected timings. It's very unfortunate. His head should have collapsed like one of those crazy desert bears. Yeah, when a Wookiee, a Wookiee punch by itself should knock you out, but with like pointed electric, and he's not a mark. I'm like, this guy. Whoa, why do you even wear armor?
He's got a metal plate in his head or something. We don't know.
Well, then he saw his skin. What happened? Oh. Well, we can't have anyone getting hurt. This is Disney. Calm down, Disney. All right. This is Star Wars. People get their arms cut off. Get used to it, Disney. Arms get cut off. People get cut in half. Even the heroes. Got to do it. Not that I want Boba Fett to get cut in half, but Mephisto said, it's the ultimate crossover. This is a multiverse of madness. Someone called Doctor Strange. God, if they did that, I would just be furious. Not that there couldn't be some sort of crossover eventually in some way, but not like that. Not here. Not. It's like this is not the Book of Boba Fett. Now this is Marvel joined Star Wars. I just can't wait for Kenobi. Is anyone actually excited for the Cassian Andor series? Wow, I forgot that was happening.
I am.
Debbie's excited for it. Do you know what
I
that's
love
about?
backstories.
Backstory of Cassian Andor. This is how he got to be where he was before Rogue One and his death.
Spy.
So a Star Wars spy show. I guess we'll see. And it's in the Empire era, of course, so I think that's a underutilized time period where they should be making some shows like during the Empire. Let's see. And Kenobi, I'm really looking forward to way more than Cassian Andor, but I'm also much more terrified because Kenobi's my favorite character, and you just worry that something terrible is going to happen. Strange love the Doctor. Sorry, I used to love Star Wars being a 70s kid. This Mouse House stuff is grating to me. Other than Rogue One and Mando, I'm underwhelmed. You're not alone. I do like Rogue One, and I do like Mando, but for the most part, that's about it out of the new stuff. But I absolutely love like prequels and the originals, so and a lot of the Clone Wars stuff they did. Not all of it. There's some episodes of that are just full on filler, but there's other good stuff. But as far as the Disney stuff goes, the Clone Wars season finale, that was good, or the new season they did under that was pretty good. And then Rogue One I enjoyed. Mando I've enjoyed.
How about Bad Batch?
Bad Batch was okay. Didn't blow me away. It was I mean, it's kind of like more Clone Wars almost, just into the Empire era, which I did like, but it's got some crossover stuff that I felt was unnecessary at times. Again, there was like a whole episode where it's like, it's not the Bad Batch anymore, it's Rebels. But what are you gonna do? Cassian Andor already received renewal for second season. Wow, I haven't even seen the first season yet. When does that come out? No idea.
I think that comes out this year.
I can look it up. I mean, if they've already approved it for a second season, I would guess soon. Every Star Wars show from now on will have a certain percentage of Grogu to make sure people watch. Just even on a screen behind. You could open up they even mention it so often in the show. Like, you could open up a petting zoo with that thing. Hey, where's the little guy? Oh, everyone wants to see Grogu.
Yeah, it does come out this year. It doesn't say when that I can see.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from the expanded universe and Legends now Legends, but expanded universe that I would have liked to see. And there's stuff that I could have cared less if they did, but since they've made the sequel trilogy, now that's kind of there, unless they do something to undo that. That's where the story leads, and that's kind of disappointing to me, at least. I know not everyone feels that way, but I prefer thinking the end of the Skywalker saga as Return of the Jedi. That's for me, but what are you going to do? Andor and Kenobi this year. And I'll be watching, even if I'm not I have to still watch it. It's Star Wars, so can't not check it out. Well, that was a diversion and a half.
As always.
It happens. Star Wars diversion. We're talking about Doctor Strange. Sorry, Doctor Strange. But we've said most of what there is to say about Doctor Strange. I mean, he was snapped away. It was nice to see him in Infinity War teaming up with the Avengers kind of for the first time, but he didn't. No, and actually, I will say when they fought Thanos, that was pretty sweet. He kind of held off Thanos by himself there for a while. even though that was all part of that plan that they were doing. But when he turned the thing into butterflies, even Thanos was like,
What the hell?
what is this guy? Yep, gotta check it out.
Well, and then the which I think we're all assuming the evil Doctor Strange from What If.
Yeah, from the trailer. So the trailer that we saw essentially at the end of Spider-Man, and second end credits thing, it does seem to show the sinister Doctor Strange. And that'll be fun. If it is that same one from the What If, then that's a really, really powerful dude.
Or it's Mephisto.
Yeah, like he's like, you have 20 guys around him. I was there, man. He's got shit he throws at you. Then you
Like the sword.
he's
got the sword.
Exactly.
Shit, yeah, you
He's
can
got,
throw it
like,
in the
shit
air,
that he
catch it
throws,
underneath.
exactly.
Yeah,
And you
shut the
fucking-
fuck up.
Blade! And hopefully Blade will also show up. I love
Well, I
that.
just thought you were
I was
telling me to
gonna
shut the
say,
F up about Mephisto.
No, that I would probably use this.
What's the matter? You missed that? It's okay, I can do it again.
And Blade has been cast, so who knows when he's actually going to show up more than just a voiceover cameo at the end of Eternals. God. Watch the whole of Eternals and then you get that. Come on. But definitely looking forward to that in Doctor Strange. Looking forward to possibly anything. Who knows?
And even though Strange can be and is an arrogant asshole, he does have a sense of humor. You know, the way he messes with Thor at the beginning of Ragnarok. Him and Tony, you know, they go at it.
Let's see.
I have been falling for 30 minutes.
Yeah, he has this whole meeting with Thor, and the whole time he just leaves Loki falling through like a void until he remembers, oh, right.
Well, and he's messing with Thor the whole time. I mean, you know, they're
the beer.
constantly changing rooms, and, you know, Thor's knocking into things. He keeps refilling his beer, and
Which is
or
great,
ale,
but
or-
the other stuff is weird. Thor's like, I like this cup. It just swirls back.
Dan, all right, let me ask you this one time. What master do you serve?
What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus?
that look every time. And I
Yes.
just rewatched Infinity War and Endgame this weekend too. So
He gives the finger from Doctor Strange. There's only one.
Right next to a huge steaming ball of foreshadowing.
Is this the timeline? If I told you, it wouldn't happen.
So Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
Oh man, how does time travel work in this universe? I do not know. But yeah, Doctor Strange, definitely looking forward to seeing him back in action in the multiverse of madness. And he was fun. He was fun in Spider-Man. What did you think of him in Spider-Man? Are you still convinced that that was not him? Or that
I am. He was just weird.
evil version of him?
He was just off. Well, I don't know, Mephisto or Sinister from What If. I don't know, but to me, it didn't act like him.
I thought it was pretty spot on for him. And I think having seen that Sinister one in the trailer kind of says, look, this is the evil guy. Although, yeah, he wasn't the same Doctor Strange that maybe we remembered from Infinity War, but that's because also he's just gotten back from his snap. So maybe he's feeling different, or
because he's not Sorcerer Supreme.
And he wants to,
He's just lounging around in his sweatpants.
So I'll hang out with Spider-Man and the other Spider-Man and that other Spider-Man, and
I can't wait for that to come out on digital.
Oh yeah,
later this month.
My daughter made me and the missus watches the Eternals for the 4th time over the weekend.
Why?
Pure torture, and she knows it. Oof, golly, that is rough, dude.
I almost rewatched it this weekend just to see if I liked it. I mean, I liked it, but to see if I liked it any better than I did in the theater, and I just couldn't.
It's rough, like, right?
Oh, I'm just gonna watch Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, they're just more enjoyable, and their plot makes more sense, which is a ridiculous thing to say when you're saying that the plot of Endgame makes more sense, because that's just a time travel monstrosity. But the Eternals are just like, why are these characters doing the things that they're doing and saying the things that they're saying? And whose idea was it? Like, who, you have to put some of the blame on the director's head and the screenwriters for just putting some of these things in places where it's like the Mad Weary. I think that's what it's called. That's that disease or whatever that
Angelina Jolie has.
Angelina Jolie. They just introduced that like everyone knows what that is in the movie. They're like, she's got the Mad Weary, and they just move on. And I'm sitting there.
Well, evidently they know what it is.
What is that?
They just didn't explain it to the audience.
The rest of us are familiar with. And with all the explaining that goes on in that film, you would have thought that would have been explained a little bit quicker, but no, because it's actually a plot point later. She's remembering the blah, blah, blah. It's just and they're not actually people, they're machines. And the Celestials, they can create galaxies, but the only way for them to be born is to destroy a planet. Why? And we have spaceships. That's okay. So they're deciding how quickly information and technology gets released to humans. And they know the timeline, or at least the leader, one of them, knows the timeline for when the Earth's going to end. So how about you set up the timeline so that they get space stations and stuff when the thing's ready to explode, so that they can get off the planet, and then none of them have to die. And then they can go populate another celestial egg and then get off it and not have to die. Because why do the people have to die in order for a celestial to be born? These rules seem arbitrary and dumb. And why are there so many of them?
Or lazy writing.
Yeah, it's there's a
power dampening collar. Shuts down all mutant abilities. Can't get it off unless you've got a grenade.
Huh. Could have used one of those in the first act.
They keep a monster in the basement, right next to a huge steaming ball of foreshadowing.
This guy, Cable, he's very short, 5'11", not like in the comics. And if we succeed, we all go home early.
So you use a device to slide through time. I got 2 charges, one to get me here, one to get me home.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
The Eternals writing isn't lazy, though. It's like spastic and insane. Oh, I know. We'll have the Superman character turn out to be evil. What a twist. That was a twist like 20 years ago. Now that's the staple of the character. Okay? Everyone's expecting that every time. They even did it in like Justice League. All right? You're way behind on this. Superman himself has done it live action several years ago. You're not surprising anyone with that twist. And the way that he did it was so stupid. I can't believe it. They're like, our entire mission here is to wipe out the deviants. And they're like, all right, we completed our mission. 500 years later, they're like, there were some more deviants. And it's like, you're the worst at your jobs. You're all just terrible. And these are apparently also created by these supreme beings who know better than everyone else. I'm starting to doubt that these guys are actually that intelligent. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started. I've clearly been started. So do I. Eternals. Filmed by committee, I'm thinking, yes. All over the place like painter's floor. Yeah, and they had other stuff they wanted to jam in there, and
it was just too much. For that big of an ensemble. It was just, it was just too much.
Made them watch Shawshank tonight to show them what that's a great movie. Shawshank Redemption.
Good show. Not Avatar.
Yeah.
I never got
They're doing 7 sequels to that, apparently. 10 years after the original film.
They're all of them gonna be like 10 years apart. I mean,
I have no idea. It's ridiculous.
The original people who watched it won't be around to see.
Yeah, so we've all died, but James Cameron is being kept alive by machines to keep pumping out Avatar sequels, which no one's going to see.
Oh Lord.
This is the future. That's surreal.
I don't get him.
No, I don't know why you would agree to make that many more. Like, the first one was just Pocahontas in space with like, oh, the 3D is great. It is Pocahontas. It's just Pocahontas. It's beat for beat Pocahontas. There's even a big old tree that they talk to. Like, it's Pocahontas with aliens and mech
now I'm
suits.
gonna have to go back and watch it and see if
just for that. No, I promise you. And the mech suits are just like the blunderbusses that the colonists would use. Their advanced technology. So it's still just a matter of advanced technology versus indigenous peoples. It just happens to be taking place in a science fiction setting, but it's basically beat for beat. I mean, literally. And what happens? He goes to live with the indigenous person and learn. Oh, I can learn to paint with the colors of the wind. And so then what happens? The people invade and come for the natural resources.
Oh,
it is.
Gosh.
So how are you going to do that many sequels to that? Like, the continuing destruction of this planet, just like that, it's like a Western at this point. We're building train tracks to this side of the planet. We have to cut through these native people's homelands. And even in the future, we're still doing that crap. So it's the fake future. James Cameron, the AI direction. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyhow, I think that about covers us for our.
Pretty much covered just about every fandom out there.
We did branch off into other places, but that's fine. That's part of the excitement of a live show.
And we have fun doing it, so.
Yeah, it's because it's like, I don't think there's an Avatar fandom. Now, Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm in that fandom. Terrible film. M. Night Shyamalan should be publicly. I don't know. He's already been humiliated, I guess, just by making the film. But the show Avatar: The Last Airbender was great. But yeah, Gamakai and Andrew, who would go as like Avatar? No, because there's so many other cooler things with more stuff to it. The only thing I've done Avatar is I went to Disney World for my friend's wedding, and they have like 2 Avatar rides, and I got on one of them, and the wait was like 3 hours, and I was like, I hate this. I don't know why we didn't do a fast pass or something like that, but in the line they have like, the stuff to do while you're in line, like look at stuff and read things, and so you read the backstory on this stuff, and it's like they're after a metal called unobtainium. And I'm like, oh, God,
well, that's original.
Terrible writing. Talk about lazy writing. Like, oh my God, what is this? So, I don't know.
But now, in whatever year this is, the audience wants action and seats with beverage holders, but mainly action.
Anyway, we'll see. I think those should be coming out sometime soon. I mean, my gosh, unless you want even more people to forget that Avatar was ever even a thing. The only thing it has going for it is like, oh, it made more money than almost anything ever. And it was the leading one for so long. But that was just because
he keeps re-releasing it.
Well, there was that, but half of the, like, allure of going to see it was they're like brand new technology. This is going to be everywhere. This is going to be the next big thing. And then like it wasn't really, and Avatar was the only one that did it. And now it's fine. You go see things in IMAX. That's great. But that Avatar was like the first thing. So everyone who wanted to be like, I'm going to be the first one to see this movie this way, went and saw it like that. Just like everyone did that with Endgame, and then Endgame made more than Avatar. So, which they also re-released. Yeah. Re-releasing things. Of course you're going to make more money.
Well, Star Wars did it first.
Star Wars is better than everyone else. Or it was. But yeah, Empire Strikes Back, they re-released that at least twice. And it made like tons of money.
Well, then they had the special editions, and I don't know, wasn't there another one?
Well, the re-release of the special editions was also partially because George Lucas was like, look at the technology I can use now. And people were like, oh no.
It's a scary thing.
On one hand, it's interesting and it's great, and it paved the way forward for the stuff that they're doing, nowadays with CGI and, but when he went back and changed his own films, a lot of people were like, what are you doing? Because it almost amounts to, now he is the creator too. So if anyone has the right, it's obviously him.
But that doesn't mean it's a good decision.
And yeah, it doesn't mean it's a good decision. And you're also messing with like the original. And some people even consider that like a form of censorship. Like when they go back into old movies and like digitally remove the cigarettes or whatever, or do stuff like that. It's like, we have to draw a line somewhere. Like, let the art be viewed as it was created then, because it also, it gives you a sense of the place and time where it came from, like what was possible to even do with technology at that point. And when you muddy it up with current day technology by switching, it's like it mars that purity.
Well, and then one thing that's Disney has done that's kind of pissed me off is that they've kind of screwed around with the soundtracks. They've taken sounds out, or sounds. They've taken tracks out.
Strange. Oh yeah, go on.
I don't understand the reasoning behind that, because those are some awesome soundtracks. I used to have them on CD. I wish I still had them now, but
yeah, I think I've got like the original 6 on CD.
I mean, I have the original vinyl Star Wars 77 that I got for Christmas that year because they didn't have any toys at that time. So I got the album and I still have it.
Yeah, I did that for Lord of the Rings as well. Sweet soundtrack, needed to have it. 'Cause sometimes you just need that music in your life. Strange Love the Doctor said, floaty mountains in the sky. Talk about Avatar. Yeah. Oh, look. Ooh, it's a visual spectacle. Could easily cut Avatar by around an hour and 45 minutes, get the entire tale in an hour. The rest of the film is just scenery. Yeah, exactly. And that's why that ride that they did is basically just flying around in the Avatar world. And they put you in a harness and they kind of like hover you and stuff, but it's just in front of a screen. It's in front. It's a, ooh, that was worth a 3-hour wait for 5 minutes. Oh, wait. No, I personally don't think it was, but I'm really impatient. So, I mean, sometimes it's worse though, because I'm in a group. And so you're like, oh, now I have to talk to these people. And it's like, I have a book on my phone. I could spend 3 hours reading a book, but now I'm like forced to socialize for 3 hours.
That would be me.
God. Yeah.
Unless I was with my kids, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. But my feet would not last that long. I couldn't stand in line for 3 hours.
It's not just the people I'm with, but all the other people that are in line. Like, oh, there's some horrifying, annoying kids that are going to be next to me for the next 3 hours. Okay. Yay. All right. Anyway, we are at the end of our show here today. We're going for over an hour now, so we're going to call it for tonight. That is our MCU Mondays. I want to thank everyone who joined us in the comments, especially Strange Love the Doctor, William and David, Matt, Matt, yes. Steven as well. I think that was everyone that was not a bot trying to get me to click on stuff. So we appreciate y'all.
And Grant, you're late.
And there's Grant.
Dude.
Grant popping in at the very end of the show.
If you want to talk Star Wars, come join us Tuesday night for Boba Fett predictions, and then Thursday night to see if we were right or wrong.
And that's going to be on the GNN Geek News Now on their Facebook and on
not Facebook, just YouTube.
It's just on the YouTube. So go and make sure you're subscribed to the Geek News Now YouTube channel. And we'll see you, Grant. We just want to make sure. Hi, original Star Wars all the way. We're with you. All right. Last comments. I went to the Tower of Terror on my own just to get a picture of myself yawning on it.
Thanks, Matt.
Too busy watching Vase still game. Hey. Well, there's at least a good reason. Stick up the link. If I get the link.
All right. If you're on Facebook, if you look for the Geek News Now Katina Happy Hour, I know they've posted it a couple times today. There's a link in there, or just go to our YouTube channel and you'll find us under Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour.
Wait, let me I think, oh no, maybe I can't find it. Videos, upcoming live stream tomorrow. So this is the one for tomorrow. And then this is the one for Thursday.
Why did it post 3 times?
I don't know. Oh, because it's responding on each platform that I'm streaming to right now, which is Geek News Now Facebook, Geek News Now YouTube, and It's a Vase YouTube. So look, there's a bunch of different links. They all basically go to the same 2 things. So there's the links. I'm actually just going to leave them up a little bit longer. So in the meantime, while you're possibly saving that, let's put on a clip of something.
I'm not saying that from the ashes of captivity never has a greater Phoenix metaphor been personified in human history.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
Yes, Mr. Stark.
Give me a fat beat to beat my buddy's ass.
How you supposed to get a head in there? Jack, could you put your head in there? No. Try to put your head in there. No, go ahead. Try to put your head in there. See, Ivan, he can't put his head in there. That's not a helmet. It's a head.
Is that a fanny pack? I used to have one of those in 1990. Never.
Retrieving something from my utility bag.
It's a goddamn fanny pack, and you know it, you sick son of a bitch. The difference is night and day.
All right. Strange Love the Doctor said reminder set. So I think we are clear now. And that's going to do it for us tonight on MCU Mondays. Last reminder again on the Geek News Now YouTube. Tomorrow they will be talking about predictions for Book of Boba Fett. Thursday they will be talking about what actually happened in Book of Boba Fett. So it's Tuesday and Thursday. And then, of course, every Monday is MCU Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm Chris. That's Debbie. I hope you had a great time tonight.
Bye, guys.
I did. It's great.
Wait, is that you?
Hey, it's me. Don't scratch. Just cleaning up the timelines.
Look, one day your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. And when he does,